She's not having a tea.
She's got one currently.
Oh. But hang on, is it in a different mug to the aesthetic that we have going? I think it looks good back like that. Yeah.
Don't put that on the blooper reel.
Now that you said that. Push it back a little bit. Yeah, lovely. Hi guys, and welcome to no, I can't do it. Hello, and welcome to today's video. So I'm so excited today because I'm here with my best friends, amazing friends from university. We've got Jess here.
Hi guys.
And Imi.
Hi.
Woohoo! And I'm Lou from LVS Creations. Today we are going to be talking about faith and how we live with our faith at uni. That didn't make any sense.
It did.
It did?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we live out our faith in uni? We're basically just going to have a discussion. We have our tea, we have our fairy lights, and we have our mouths to talk.
To each other.
Yeah. We're just going to get on with this. So, cue the intro card. Let's do it. So, I think first off, we should probably introduce ourselves, like who we are, what we do, that kind of thing.
Sounds like a good idea.
I'll start off with Jess. Oh, sorry, I was doing when you were drinking tea.
Keep that in. Please, I'll pay you money to keep that in. It was the tea gulping down. Did not sound like that, girl. I'm Jess, as Lou just said, and I'm a third year English Lit student from the University of Birmingham. I'm friends with these two.
My name's Imi, I am 20 years old, I am also going to third year, and I'm a music student, and I'm also studying at Birmingham, so yeah, that's me.
I mean, we're all studying at Birmingham, that's how we
we're all
met.
going into third year.
Yeah.
The only difference is what is it?
Subjects. Yeah. I mean,
And names.
yeah.
Profound.
And personalities and
And
appearances.
So I'm Lou, and again, third year, University of Birmingham, but I study English Lit and Drama. So Jess and I actually met, firstly at church. We had a seminar together, and like when we saw one another, we were like,
meant to be. But I'd seen her in lectures beforehand. I'd seen this girl with a Bible verse as a screensaver on her laptop.
and then we knew Imi from church as well.
Yeah, kind of like CU church, so the church circle, Christian circle.
Mm-hmm.
But we spoke about this a few weeks ago. We actually didn't become like good friends till like second year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna just start off with the first question, which is, take yourself back to when you were 18. What did you think of when uni first comes to mind?
Oh, good question. That is such a good question.
Thanks, I did write them with you. So just applauding yourself. But...
You kind of expect uni to be this 24/7 party, and I'm not gonna lie, I prefer a night in with a glass of wine.
Yes, queen!
feel like we all do.
Monopoly deal.
Board games. I feel like there's this pressure around uni to be like the best 3 years of your life, and for a lot of people, the best 3 years involves drinking, doing drugs, like getting smashed. And I think I kind of thought that.
I don't know why, the way you said that, you were like getting smashed.
I thought there was going to be a lot of peer pressure around that. Like, I thought it'd be difficult to meet people that maybe were more like chilled in that sort of vibe.
I definitely when I was 18 thinking at university, university story in my head of like exactly how it was going to play out. Like I was going to have probably like different friends than the ones I had at home. I was going to go out loads. I was going to be like crazy. I wasn't really going to have to work too hard. And I didn't think it was going to be I thought it was just going to be basically one big like social thing.
Yeah.
I think I went with quite an open mind, to be honest. Like I didn't really quite know. But I was excited about moving to Birmingham, a big city.
I was really worried because like I didn't really party when I was in sixth form. It just didn't really happen, and I didn't get drunk until I got to uni. And I remember typing into YouTube like going to uni and like not being a massive party animal, and like one video came up. But one thing I was excited about, because it wasn't all doom and gloom before I went to uni, was like meeting new people and also doing subjects that I really love.
And I was excited to like make my own life. Like it was quite exciting to think, okay, I get to start fresh.
Yeah, you like learn how to be independent
Yeah.
when you go to uni.
Yeah,
Which
and
seems
it's quite
daunting.
exciting. But it's also quite exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exciting.
This is basically like running off what we just said. So like from those expectations that we had about like the typical like university experience, did those expectations match the reality of uni?
No.
Yeah, no.
Straight out there.
And in fact, that was one of the best things that I came to terms with in second year of university, is that like in my head I had this narrative, as I said earlier, of like partying, finding friends immediately, like really clicking, I don't know, just everything falling into place and everything being really easy. I have a few health like conditions where I have to sleep. There were a lot of things where I had to come to terms with that I wasn't going to have that classic uni experience. And as soon as I let go of that and started to enjoy what I had in front of me, that was like a massive game changer. I think one of the other things I thought was like, there was like a best friend out there for me at university. And if I met enough people, then I would meet my best friend.
Yeah.
And actually what I learnt was that like best friends are a product of like investment of time.
I feel like for me as well, similarly, I think like choosing to do things that you enjoy rather than feeling like you have to go. If you love a night out, go on a night out. But if you would much rather go on a night out when you're feeling it, but like sit at home with a friend. Actually, I remember me and my flatmate saying in like first year, we made really like genuine friendships with people because they weren't based off alcohol and nights out. Like it was based off like sitting down, having a cup of tea, having a glass of wine. I think there's this whole thing that you'll meet your best friends in Freshers Week.
Yes, things that.
That is definitely not true. I didn't meet some of my closest friends until like week 6 of semester 1 or like semester 2, even second year. Like I know I've already said that, but getting that out of your head that you can still meet people throughout the whole time you're at uni.
And I think also you see on people's like social media, like people like flatmates are family, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and that puts so much pressure on you. Like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I've connected with my flat. Like I know my flat in first year, like I just didn't like talk to them, and like they were perfectly nice people, but like we just wouldn't hang out. I feel like sometimes you go over to uni, and like especially in Birmingham, which is huge, you know, you've got like close to 30,000 students, so you're like, how the heck can I get lonely? But you like some of the loneliest places are the busiest places in the world. I found it really difficult in first year trying to find the people that I could spend time with, or like finding that correct like investment time with a group of friends, but also like making sure I'm looking after myself, my health, and like I don't know, I just got the balance completely wrong in first year, and I either spent way too much time with too many people, like exhausting myself, or I spent way too much time on my own and became lonely.
I think also it was like a matter of working out how to like getting out of a space of validating your time. Like, oh, to validate my time here, because uni goes so fast, it goes so much faster than things does. You think, I've got to cram as many things in, I've got to make the most of it. And then I had a realisation in second year that sometimes making the most of something doesn't mean cramming stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes making the most of something is to go slower. But nights out are fun sometimes.
Yeah.
With the right people.
With the right people.
Yeah.
People you feel comfortable around. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. So now we're like, that was kind of generic uni. We're now going to talk a little bit more about our faith and like everything to do with uni. So do you find it, what's the question? So the question is, do you find that you're missing out at uni because of your faith?
For me, like, not at all. I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's definitely enhanced the uni experience for me. Like, I've met people that I wouldn't have met if I wasn't a Christian, and I have like joined an amazing church and met people through that are different ages. And in terms of like the like party culture of uni, I think you can still have a really good night and still hold your like Christian morals.
I feel like at parties, really good conversations happen sometimes.
I was going to say that.
Like in a house party, and it's like everyone's like the upstairs bedroom, we're just like sitting down chatting on like the stairwell. Yeah, do I feel like I missed out at uni because I have faith? No. But I do remember thinking before I went to uni, because so the majority of my friends at home are Christian, just by coincidence. And I remember thinking, when I get to uni, this is the game changer. I'm not going to have mostly Christian friends. I'm going to reinvent myself. We're going to have like a different take on all this. But it's interesting that you tend to gravitate towards people who have like people you do church with and that kind of thing. It's like a slightly different flow of friendship because you've just got to have that extra level of vulnerability. I think it gave me a version of uni that I really have enjoyed.
I feel like I haven't missed out on uni because of my faith, because like being a Christian doesn't restrict you to living a normal life. it enhances it. And like, I think a lot of people are very like, have a lot of misconceptions and like think about Christianity or like living out of faith as something that's very orientated around rules and do nots rather than do's. Like, it reminds you constantly, what kind of a person do you want to be? Like, what's the best version of you and how can you go about doing that? And you know what, sometimes it is the really difficult things of like, actually, I'm not going to go into this relationship because I don't think it's the best thing, or you know, I'm not going to smoke, or I'm not going to take drugs because I don't want to fall down that path. And like, it is really difficult because obviously like in the moment you're like, oh, I'm missing out, and FOMO, what the heck. But listen, FOMO is a socially constructed it's socially constructed thing. Okay, the fact that FOMO is made to be an acronym forces you to believe that there is something to be missing out on, when actually, what are you missing out on more? The fact that you're sticking to your morals, or the fact that you're in the moment feeling to like be pushed under the pressure of peers?
Yeah, it's like choosing faith over like the instant gratification that I think a lot of people at uni like look for. I know I did.
Oh god.
Uni is a time of like making big decisions,
Yeah.
like defining decisions. And I think actually, when I think about it, personally, whenever I've had to make decisions along the line at university where my faith is like a thing that comes into question, I've never thought like, yes, I'll choose my faith, but that means I'm really missing out on something else. I don't know, it's always just, more than anything, it's kind of like put me back on like the track of like where I actually want to go, and like bringing out the best side of me, I think.
The next question is, do you feel judged for having a faith at university? No, not really. I feel like there's so many different people at university, and by the time you get to uni, like, you aren't affected by your parents or your teachers or your school as much, so you end up being able to like form your own opinions and like become like the you that you want to be, like in an adult version. It's like you 2.0. It's crazy, it's amazing.
I think also at uni there are a lot of people who like, I kind of call like culturally Christian, so like they went to a Christian school and they maybe came from like a Christian family or something, but maybe aren't practicing, and then you come to uni and as like a practicing Christian, people are really interested about it. And like
so
want
true.
to talk about it. And I think, as you said, Lee, like everyone's working out who they are, and so no one's like out to get anyone out. Well, that's my experience anyways, because just as much as I'm practicing what I believe, someone else is also like practicing, you know what I mean? We're all like coming to terms with it.
I found like school a lot different to university. Just because at school I feel like there is more judgment, I think. I like personally anyway, I found that there was like quite a lot more judgment. So I thought that was going to be the same at uni, but actually like everyone's deciding who they want to be, and I think people become more themselves at uni than ever before. I like found for me that I met people that I could be so like myself around.
Like, if you're scared to tell people that you're a Christian, I think often a lot of that fear is built up in your own mind. I firmly believe that you should be telling people, yeah, I'm a Christian and I go to church.
I remember telling my flat about being a Christian for the first time. Honestly, it was so scary, and I never normally get nervous about telling people that I'm a Christian. And we just arrived at university, I think on the Saturday, and it was the Sunday, and everyone was going to go to the pub, like us and the flat next door to us. And I remember they were all making plans to go to the pub, and I was like, I've got to tell them I'm going to church. And I was like, I've got to tell them I can't make it. And everything in the kitchen, like my heart being like, and I was like, yes, so the pub. I was like, actually, I'm going to go to church. I literally remember feeling like I was going to throw up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so bad. But you know what? They just went like, oh, okay, like, no worries. Like, we'll go to the pub another time.
Do you still have friendships outside of the Christian circle?
Yeah, I do. I couldn't match the accent. I'm really sorry. But like some of my really, really like good friends are like not Christians. And I still like value them as much as I do my Christian friends. It's like different types of friendship, isn't it? Like you go to different friends for different things, and you have different like vibes. You have different vibes. It's like so good to have friends outside of the Christian bubble. I think it's so important to actually. In fact, I'd say it's pretty vital. I can't lie. Because like it opens up your perspective. It gives you like chance to think about your faith more. Because I think if you're surrounded by Christians constantly, you kind of just accept it.
Yeah, Absolutely. Of course I have friends. No, I don't need any more tea, otherwise it'll be like...
Of course you have friends.
Of course I have friends. Absolutely. I do have friends outside of the Christian circle. I think pretty much Jess has said it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
sorry.
Yeah,
Don't my words.
But sorry, I don't know. I was forming a joke in my head and then it didn't come out quick enough and it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, a lot of time has passed.
Yes, at the end of the day, I have friends.
And non-Christian friends.
And non-Christian friends.
Christian friends.
And Christian friends.
Yeah, can confirm.
Can
She does.
They're called cuddly toys.
It's a bit late sometimes.
They're only in my imagination.
I also have...
What did you say?
No, I also have non-Christian friends. I absolutely love them. Honestly, I'm so grateful to have them as friends at uni. I'd say the majority of my non-Christian friends are probably from first year accommodation and my degree. But I think also it just keeps you a bit more like rooted.
How does uni shape your faith?
Oh, I feel like uni was a bit of a game changer for me faith-wise. I had a faith before I went to uni. But I think when you go to uni, you meet so many different people with so many different views, and like Christians as well, which who will like maybe challenge you in new ways. My advice would be to like make friends that challenge you and let your friends challenge you on things as well. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me at uni was just actually thinking about faith more for myself rather than just taking in everything I learnt from my home church where everyone had quite similar views, and just actually thinking about it for myself, like what do I actually believe and how do I want to live that out.
I feel where I came from, like everyone kind of learn how to live out their faith and be a Christian in the same way. But at uni, it gives you perspective of like all the different avenues and ways in which you can live out your faith. And I think I was so unaware of like the multiplicity, is that a word? Like the plethora of like denominations, and therefore like the differences in like the way that people choose to live out their faith. And like especially for me, a big one for me was worship, because I had never really understood what worship was. It was like you sing a song out of a hymn book and then you move on to the sermon. Whereas at uni, the church that we went to, which is where we met each other
first year.
But like when I went to that church, I was like, I wanted to push my faith a little bit and I wanted to be like put myself out of my comfort zone. And that church certainly did it for me with worship. And suddenly I was like, oh my gosh, it's not just about singing the right words and singing nicely to a harmony. It's actually about an all-encompassing experience. And for me, like discovering the Holy Spirit through worship, which I had never really understood or discovered before. And so uni allowed me to push myself with my faith and discover new things that I didn't think I ever understood.
It's like a place to like build your own convictions of
Yes.
like where you stand and stuff. Like,
I
okay,
said it. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Like, do I actually believe this, or have I just been in this situation before where I can go along with it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like at uni, you're very confronted with what you believe, because you're having to tell people what you believe, having to justify it to people, and to get to choose your own church, I think it's really big. Thank you.
I think also at uni, you're expected to make your own timetable and to like structure your own life, which can be a massive change for so many people. Well, it is. And I think it's about trying to figure out how do I purposefully fit in my faith within my timetable. Because I feel like sometimes at school, very clear cut of like when I went to school, when I worked, when I socialised, when I rested. And that was like very clear cut for me. Did you feel that?
No. Sorry.
So basically, for anyone who does feel like, because you said yes, didn't you?
Yeah, like I think uni is a lot less structured than school, because
I
you
do
don't
agree
have
with
to
that,
be.
yeah.
You decide whether you want to go in. Obviously,
Yeah.
go to lectures. You know, go to seminars. But like you decide when you want to work, like when you want to sleep. Whereas at school, it was obviously like 9 till 3 or like 9 till 5.
I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Have
do
you
like
changed
that.
your mind now?
I've changed my mind. I do also think not only that, but you choose your priorities.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Girl,
Yeah.
we be on the same page.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I do
even
agree
though-
with her.
Like, you don't have registration in the morning where you have to be at school, and if you're not,
Yeah.
like, you
You
get a
don't have to do
ring
anything.
home being like, why is Billy not in school? Like, you don't have that.
Ring.
A ring, ring.
ring these parents.
So that's what I'm saying, you've got to, like, pick your structure and
Yeah.
pick, like...
Okay, I'm so with you now. And that just reminded me, you know how we were saying, like, trying out new things at uni? Even stuff like Sabbath. Like, we've got, like, little days out.
We love the Sabbath.
But, like, the thing about uni is that you suddenly have the chance to prioritise stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
let's prioritise having a day of the week where we just enjoy each other's company.
Because remember, we are human beings, not human doings. Should I go get my PhD for preaching?
Going back to like the whole prioritizing God thing and like choosing to prioritize God, like recognizing that it can be in
There was a feather coming into these
Oh,
things. Like, I was just like, do I grab? Like, how do I help the situation?
as you say, I think with like the whole like prioritizing God thing as well, like praying, reading your Bible is super important, but also I can't do this.
Please keep that in.
Sorry. I was trying so hard to keep it in. I'm sorry, you know when like it just bubbles up and you can't. Okay, I'm gonna be.
Like yeah, I think with the whole prioritizing God thing, like praying, reading your Bible is so important, but also recognizing that it's like a whole day thing. Like you can prioritize God in like everything that you do. I don't know. Is that
Seeing God in everything we do, see, hear, and feel.
I'm not sweating on purpose. It's still recording.
Oh, that's nasty. I've got some hair under
I
there.
think these are gonna be some amazing
No,
bloopers.
body hair is not nasty.
Body hair is not nasty.
Body hair
is not nasty.
Mm-mm.
Come back for part 2 on why body hair is not nasty.
Album
And
dropping
it's-
this week. Body hair is not nasty.
No, it's not.
Body hair is not nasty.
No, it's not.
Next question is, what is the importance of having people to hold you accountable?
Yeah, I'd say it's so important. I think one of the things that stood out for me at uni was in like week 2 or 3, I met one of my like Christian friends and they like challenged me on something. Someone says something to you, like, oh, I'm not sure you should be like saying that, because it is so easy to try and like want to fit in at uni. And I think I definitely did that in the first 2 weeks. I tried to fit in and kind of try and be what everyone else was a little bit. Yeah, I think it's so important to have friends that hold you accountable and friends that you can pray with as well.
Funny, I feel like I like got friends at university, Christian friends who would like hold me to account, and I have to really catch my reaction, because I know if I feel a bit defensive, it's because I kind of subconsciously know that like what
Yeah.
you've got, there's truth in what you're saying. So I think it's really important. I think you need to like utilize it to the best of your ability by like listening to it, going away thinking about it, and then coming back.
What happened?
My earring just fell out my ear.
I think it allows you to progress, and I think also like one thing that I've come to terms with is recognizing that like as a human being I'm not static in my character and my behavior, and that even when I'm 80 years old there are still going to be things that I'm going to be learning. And like that's the beauty of life, is that we will come across people who will give us so many pieces of advice, and you know, you'll keep on changing. You're not going to be the same person from birth to the person who, you know, is sitting in an armchair with a dog on their lap. I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine what my retirement would be like. And that's the first thing that came to my mind. Okay. So the last question is,
Woo!
what's your experience of church been like?
Not what I thought it was going to be.
Not what I thought it was going to be. We've all had quite similar.
Well, I feel
Journeys.
like I think we had like differing journeys. We all ended up in the same place.
Yeah, that's
We all started in the same
God,
place.
it's so good. Like,
And then
what?
we basically we all started at the same church, and then story, and then we all ended up at the same church.
A different church.
A different church. So got to uni, and I really think it was a good thing, but basically got a message from this really lovely girl who was like, "Hi, I've seen you on the CU page, like we're all going to church tonight, do you want to come?" And I was like, yeah. And so went to church that evening, and it was such a great church, and went with a bunch of girls. And then these girls, we sort of like did a bit of church shopping, so we like looked around, and then ended up settling with the first church that I went to, which was so fun. It was really great, really buzzy, super lively, and I just loved all the people there. And And I kind of thought that was it. Like, I kind of thought, found my uni church. And then I think as like the year went on and like your priorities as a student changes, I think I had a moment of like, oh, actually, is this what I really want? And then I remember thinking, well, no, I've committed now to a church. Like, I can't leave this church. Like, this is what I did want, so let's ride it out. And I suddenly had a realization of like, actually, I think I would like to try somewhere else, and that's okay. Then I think I mentioned it to you, Jess. And I think I said to you something like, I'm thinking about changing churches, I don't really know what to do. And Jess was like, well, maybe you should come and check out this church that I've been trying out. It was one of the hardest yet best decisions I made at university, like following my gut and like listening to that and stepping out and trying something new.
So I went to said first church on like my first day of uni in freshers, and like I went there and I was like blown away, and I was like, wow, okay, I have to be part of this church. This is so cool. I love what they stand for. I love this movement. Yes, I like really try to get to like a lot of like the church services and students' nights, but I also have a massive passion for drama, and I actually got into a show in first term, which was a saving grace, but at the same time, it meant that I missed out on going to students and some Sunday services. And so when I came back, like after the whole process had finished, like 6 or 7 weeks had passed. And so when I came back, people were like, oh, do you go to this church? And I was just like, yes, I do. I feel really bad. And like so many people were like asking me like who I was and like what I was doing and like where I said church. And I was like, this is so awkward. And then I like had this massive dilemma because the same thing happened in second term when I got into a show, and like the timings just weren't really fitting. And then I just felt like I really want to be a part of this church. I really like it, but I just didn't feel like when I was going on the odd occasions that I could go, it felt like it wasn't quite home, but I still loved it for what it was. And so I was like, I kept praying about it, being like, God, what is it? Like, how can I find a way to get this to work for me? And then, magic, they said that they were going to be making a plant church.
Yeah.
And the timings just seemed to work so much better. And then suddenly I was like, wow, I wouldn't have found this plant church had I not gone to this church. So like for me, moving over was just such a natural decision.
So I think for me, like I was recommended the first church that I went to from back home. Someone from my home church was like, oh, I think like you should definitely check out this church. So I went, and I did really like it, and I stayed because I initially felt like, oh yeah, I can see myself feeling part of this church and that it's my like kind of church. And for the first year, like it kind of was, I think for the first 6 months at least, I was like, yeah, I do really like this church. Yeah, the church definitely taught me a lot. But for like a variety of reasons, I lived in quite like a secluded accommodation, so it was quite hard for me to get there and back, which meant that I found it difficult to make community like at that church, I think. And it's a very big church, so it was difficult to make community there. So then I started to think about moving to a different church, and actually at the same time Lou was also thinking about moving to a different church. Like people looking for churches at uni, it feels like this whole like ride or die situation, like you go to this church and you stay at this church for the 3 years. And I think that's why it felt like quite a big decision to make for me. Like you will change over first year a lot, and it might be that there's a different church that's more suited to you out there. But yeah, like Lou said, I think it was definitely like a God thing, because again, wouldn't have found the church.
Thank you, girls, so much for chatting. I really hope that you guys kind of like we gave some advice plus our own experiences, and that if you are going into uni in September and you have a faith and you're a little bit nervous, I hope this has given you some kind of understanding and like also a little bit of calm and peace.
It's gonna be okay.
It will be
You'll
okay.
be fine.
You've got this. God's got this.
And I hope you're all staying well and staying safe amongst Miss Rona's. She's having her moment, you know what?
It's been a long moment.
Thank you so much. Make sure to like this video.
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe and comment down below your favourite tip about no joke.
Why would you take my line?
I just carried on.
Read the script.
I want to live the YouTube dream.
Like and subscribe. Bye guys.